Right now, Roblox is bigger than it has ever been. Record player counts, tens of millions of people logging in every single day. On paper, the platform is doing amazing. So why does the front page feel like the worst it has ever been? Because over the past year, a few games didn't just get popular. They changed what popular means on Roblox. Some of them are already dead, some of them are pulling millions of players today. But every single one of them left the platform worse than they found it, and I can prove it. So today, we're going through 5 games, ranked from the least damage to the most, and the last game on this list didn't just kill an entire genre, it changed what kind of games are even allowed to succeed on Roblox anymore. But real quick, hey, I am Hundi, and if you're enjoying videos like these, it would help me out a ton if you subscribe. We're trying to reach 14,000 subscribers, and it only takes 2 seconds, and it genuinely makes a difference. And since you're already here, why not go ahead and click the like button too? But anyways, let's get back into the video. Before we start naming names, we need to get one thing straight. There's a big difference between a game that failed and a game that ruined Roblox. A game that failed only hurt itself. It got greedy, it got boring, and the players left, and it eventually died. The damage stops with that one game. However, a game that ruined is way worse. A game that ruined leaves an example behind for everyone else, and it proved that something worked and every developer copied it, which made the whole front page full of copies. That's the real damage here. Not dying, teaching everyone else to build the same garbage. So as we go, I'm scoring each game on 4 things. How much it got cloned, how hard it used FOMO to trap players, how much it pushed pay-to-win gambling on kids, and how much it lowered the bar for everyone else. That score climbs with every game. But to start, let's start at the bottom at number 5. Anime Adventures. Now, if you saw multiple downfall videos, you already know that this game dug its own grave. But nobody really talks about what it left behind. For a very long time, Anime Adventures was the king of anime tower defenses. It held the highest player count in its genre for months, and it felt like it did nothing wrong. Then it got hit with a copyright takedown over characters it didn't own. It got removed from the platform, it came back from the dead on December of 2024 to a peak of around 100,000 players. And then slowly it bled out. Today, it sits at a few hundred players on a good day. But here's the part that actually matters. Anime Adventures taught an entire genre how to be a cash grab. Every anime tower defense game that came after it copied the exact same formula. Grind for units, roll the summon banner, get walled by trait rates so low that they're basically a joke, and of course be paid to win. And the worst part is that the clones did it better. Anime Vanguard came along, gave players the options of a quality of life that Anime Adventures refused to add, and just like that, there was no reason to play the game anymore. And that's a rare instance. That's the copy beating the game that just invented it, and as one player put it, every anime tower defense game on the front page is just Anime Adventures with the name changed, and somehow all of them are better than the original. And here's the thing, Anime Adventures only affected one part of Roblox. The next 4 games poisoned way more than that, and the next one on this list took that same cash grab formula and spread it across every simulator on Roblox. Number 4, Pet Simulator. Now, if you saw my video on PetSim99's Black Market, you already know where this one leads. Pet Simulator didn't just ruin one genre, it taught Roblox a way to make money that everyone copied. This is the game that showed Roblox developers not to build a game to last, but build a game to drain for cash and then kill it and sell everyone a sequel. If you watch the cycle, Pet Simulator blows up, the developer kills it for Pet Simulator 2, and of course that flopped because it wasn't pay to win enough. So out comes Pet Simulator X, which cranks the money grabbing back up and becomes one of the biggest games on Roblox. Then that gets abandoned for Pet Simulator 99. The same move every single time. Kill the game people spent hundreds of hours on, then charge them hype for the second one. And underneath it all, it was all a gambling machine pointed straight at kids. hatch odds hidden behind question marks, with the rarest pets sitting at 1 in 10 million or even reaching around 1 in 1 trillion, and they had eggs where the odds they showed didn't even match the real ones. And when players got mad, the developer called free-to-play kids entitled. This is the same team that sold NFTs to children, pulling in over $100,000 and $50,000 before Roblox shut it down, and that fired copyright takedowns at tiny developers just for making a pet that was also cube-shaped. Now, Pet Simulator isn't dead. It's pulling solid numbers today, and that's the whole point. It didn't have to die to do damage. It survived, and it proved that the pay-to-win formula makes millions. As one player put it, why would I grind a sim game for 200 hours when the dev always kills it the second a sequel makes more money? And it works so well that every simulator after it copied it exactly. Open an egg, chase a pet you'll never basically get, and pay to speed it up. That's the whole genre right now of every simulator game on Roblox.
Every front page game has some kind of loot box or gacha system or slot machine in it. Whether that's the same pets that Pet Simulator uses, skins for weapons, or other various cosmetic items. You really cannot escape the ideas and practices that Pet Simulator 99 has implemented these days.
And Pet Simulator just made the example. But the next game didn't just copy it. It got bought by a company that turned buying and ruining games into a business. Number 3 is Blade Ball. Now, if you saw my Do Big video, you already know the pattern. Buy the game, drain the game, dump the game. Blade Ball is the cleanest example of it out there. Blade Ball started as something genuinely good. It was a dead simple idea where a ball flies at you and you click to deflect it at other players. And it turned out to be perfect for TikTok. Clips of players started popping out in TikTok where the ball was going back and forth at insane speed, and it eventually went viral. With that, the game blew up. On November 19th, 2023, Blade Ball hit 511,000 players and became the third biggest game on all of Roblox. However, the greed kicked in, and it kicked in way too smart for 2 random developers. The free skins were made ugly on purpose. Just recolored default swords, so the paid ones looked much better next to them. The good skins were locked behind the crate with a 0.02% drop rate, which is thousands of crates for one skin. They'd sell the same sword 5 times in different colors at 3,500 Robux each. Then they would sell a rainbows version for 17,500 Robux.
Take the Oni Katana for example. It was released with 5 separate variations, each one costing 3,500 Robux. The only difference between these 5 swords? Literally just the color. Not to mention, a chroma version for a ridiculous 17,500 Robux. Worse yet, the developers doubled down, using the same formula for both the Ninja Katana and Ninja Star.
At one point, they dropped a single polar bear skin for around 50,000 Robux and reportedly made around $80,000 of that skin alone. But you can ignore skins. What you can't ignore was when they went after actual gameplay. New abilities, way overpowered, locked behind a crafting system where you had to roll multiple rare items at once. It had bright colors, satisfying sounds, near-miss spins, and it stopped being a game and turned into a slot machine aimed at kids, where the only real way to stay competitive was to gamble real money.
I genuinely have to buy the items, and I'm like spending thousands of pounds to even buy the new swords, bro. And it's like gambling as well. Like I'm literally gambling for a sword like every single time, and I'm spending thousands of pounds on Robux just to flip and get.
And that's the reason why it felt so calculated. It's because it was, and behind those 2 developers was Do Big Studios. They bought the game and loaded it with pay-to-win aspects and cashed out. Today, Blade Ball struggles to even pull in 10 to 20,000 players. As one player put it, you can't compete in this game unless you bought the new update the day it dropped. That's not a game anymore, that's a subscription. And the Blade Ball wasn't the only one. Do Big did the same thing to Fish and A Dusty Trip, 2 games people actually loved, and they wrecked it the same way. Fish went from one of the biggest games on the platform down to around 10,000 players before its original creator bought it back and took everything that was pay to win out. However, keep the studio in your head because the next game they had a piece of became the single biggest game in Roblox history. Number 2 is Grow a Garden. Now, this is where it stops about being one game and starts being about the entire platform. Because Grow a Garden proves something that honestly broke everyone's brain. It proved that a flat base plate with some dirt plots in it, carried by nothing but FOMO, restocks, and admin abuse events, could become the most played game on the planet. This thing peaked at 22.3 million players at once in August of 2025. It beat Fortnite. It set records no game in history has ever touched. And it was only built around watching plants grow while you weren't even playing. However, it fell apart, and it fell apart in the most useful way to learn from. The economy collapsed. A pet with a 0.08% drop rate, duplication glitches with the raccoon and the kitsune had flooded the game with currency out of nowhere. And then the Ascension reset, a system that was so bad that thousands of players wiped their entire progress by accident and quit on the spot. That caused the single biggest player drop the game ever had. Today, it's down to only 22 million to barely 6 figures on a good day. But there's the bots. When people said Grow a Garden was botted, Roblox came out and said their analysis confirmed, quote, genuine popularity and not fake numbers. Meanwhile, anyone could scroll through the server list and find bot servers hiding in free private servers farming items to sell for real money on eBay. Even when Roblox ran ban waves, the bots came back within a few days on new accounts. Now, the guy who was mostly tied into running this game is Jandal, the lead developer. He took this good idea and filled it with so much pay-to-win stuff that players got sick of it. But the money was never the real damage. The real damage is what Grow a Garden became the example everyone follows. Every kid who wants to blow up on Roblox now looks at this and thinks, why build something complicated when a plot of dirt and a timer can pull in 20 million players? As one player put it, Grow a Garden didn't just die, it killed every new developer's imagination. And here's the part where it makes the second worst on this list. After Grow a Garden hit 22 million players, the copies came in waves. Every new game that blew up used the same restock trick and the same admin abuse events. Because they saw that it made 20 million players in a moment, they all copied it. But one of those copies just didn't borrow this thing. Instead, it took out the last thing that these games still had, actual human effort, and somehow it got even bigger. Number 1 is Steal a Brainrot, the one I'd argue did the most damage than anything on this list. Grow a Garden lowered the bar for effort, however, Steal a Brainrot lowered the bar for whether a real person needs to make anything at all. Let me explain. This game passed everything. Over 25 million players at once in October of 2025, making it the only Roblox game to ever hit that number. And it didn't stop at Roblox. A knockoff version blew up inside Fortnite too. The gameplay is that you just buy off a brainrot off a conveyor belt and it makes you money. You steal better ones from other players and that's the whole game. It was so simple that someone rebuilt this entire thing in Roblox Studio just to show how they could. And here's the bad part out of all of this. Every single character in this game is just AI generated slop. None of it was made by a real artist and it came with the same gambling layer as everything else. Lucky blocks at around 2,000 to 400,000 Robux for a tiny chance at a rare one. Plus admin abuse weekends copied straight out of Grow a Garden. They came the moment that says everything about Roblox is now. One of the characters, Tung 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 Sahur, an AI meme created by a TikTok creator, got pulled from the game after a fight over who owns it. It turned into what people are literally calling the internet's first ever brain rot lawsuit, with courts trying to figure out if an AI generated image can even be owned by anyone. Think about that. We have now legal battles over who owns AI slop.
Owners of Steal a Brainrot then filed a federal lawsuit asking the court to rule that Momentum does not own valid or enforceable copyrights with Tung 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 Sahur or the other Brainrot characters at issue, which is fair considering in a completely different court case last year, it was affirmed that a work of art generated by artificial intelligence without human input could not be copyrighted under US law.
The developers behind Grow a Garden once argued that the front page isn't all about brain rot, pointing at how genuinely good games like 99 Nights in the Forest, and they're somewhat right. 99 Nights is good, but that's not what people copy. Nobody looks at a deep, well-made survival game and goes, I'll make that. They look at Steal a Brainrot and go, I'll make that because it's just a conveyor belt and a base plate. That's the bad part about this entire thing on Roblox right now. Making a deep game isn't an advantage, it's a disadvantage. As one player put it, the scary part isn't that Steal a Brainrot exists. It's just that it's now the game that every new developer is trying to be. And that's the top of the list, max out on every category. So the real question now is a big one. Why does this keep happening? That's an easy answer. And the one you know is if you saw my Do Big video, and it's the buyout machine. Studios like Do Big Studios find a game that's blowing up, offer a developer a giant bag of cash, take total control, and run the same script. You buy it, add pay-to-win features, and watch players leave. Buy the next one, then you can trace half this list back to that. But Do Big is just one of the problems. It's not really the cause. Because if you actually want to know why the entire platform works this way, you have to stop looking at the developers and start looking at the company that owns the front page. Roblox is now a public company, which means that it answers to investors. And investors don't read the patch notes. They read numbers, daily players, player accounts, playtime, and here's the thing. A brainrot game that traps kids for 4 hours filled with FOMO and flashing text makes the exact same beautiful line go up on an investor chart as a real high-quality game would. Actually, this just makes a better one because slop is built to keep you online in a way that makes a good game just isn't. So just follow the money. And if you look at the algorithm of Roblox, it rewards playtime, which is exactly what these games are built for. During the Brainrot wave in 2025, it passed Roblox for 47 million players online at once, beating Steam's all-time record, and that's a headline you have to brag about even to investors. A player count packed with bots still counts as a big number on a chart. Even when the stock drops and the analyst chart cuts their targets, the fix that looks good to investors is more playtime and not better games. So where does it actually go from here? And for once, I've actually have some answers. Roblox is finally doing something, and back in 2025, David Baszucki admitted that they were testing the algorithm changes to push games that keep players long-term, looking at weeks and months of activity instead of actually using just a 7-day snapshot. They bumped up developer payouts to reward high-quality games and started pushing genres like strategy and roleplay that they say are underrepresented. And you can actually already see it. Look at the Brainrot clones that chase Steal a Brainrot and Grow a Garden. Escape the Tsunamis for Brainrots peaked near 5 million players and crashed under 1,000. Survived Lava for Brainrots went from 1 million to a tenth of that. Sale for Brainrots went from a few thousand to only under 300. Swing Obby for Brainrots is around the same thing. The entire clone wave is dying in real time. But I'm not telling you it's over, because the reason that all of this happens hasn't changed. As long as the big number on the chart is worth more than a game, someone will always try to build the next slot machine. It's a spike, then a crash, then another spike, and it's all over and over. The only real question is whether this fix sticks, or whether there's only one viral game away from doing the whole thing again.
What lesson can be learned from all these failures? Probably the fact that chasing easy money on Roblox can sometimes lead to a game dying off before it can fully reach its max potential. And sometimes it just means that the game was never really meant to be popular as it was in the first place. And now hopefully with games like Animal Hospital getting popular, we can start seeing more actual games getting popular on the platform instead of AI slop being plastered all over the top of the front page.
So let's go back to where this all started. This time is the biggest Roblox has ever been, and maybe the worst its front page has ever looked. And if you look at the 5 games that got it here, and you know why Roblox keeps letting this happen, because here's the worst part. The real loss was never the games that died. Games die all the time, and that's normal. The real loss is that the games that never got made. Developers with good original ideas gave up on them and built another base plate with a timer instead, because that's what the algorithm pays for.
You've got creators like Kalis making games like Survive Lava for Brainrots, it's pretty clear the trend has moved from a meme into a complete business model. It reminds me of back then when every YouTuber seemed to hop on the trend and start selling merchandise, especially their hoodies or clothings. This is exactly the same case, but now with Brainrots, I'm definitely out of my mind right now. These games aren't just a silly brain rot meme simulator or whatsoever. It's more like, how fast can we convert brain rots into Robux revenue?
We'll never know how many good games we missed out on because slop was a safer bet. Unless the community keeps pushing back, unless Roblox actually means it this time, unless a big number stops being worth more than a game, until then, nothing really changes. However, this has been Hundy, and until the next video, goodbye.